Spider-Man No Way Home is a movie directed by John Watts, stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Zendaya as MJ, and Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and many other stars are in this movie. Now, regarding this movie, it is really hard for me to talk about without spoiling. I just came back from the movie theater. Here's my little ticket. See if it... No, I guess it doesn't do that. Camera is not set to automatically zoom, that's unfortunate. Really, the first thing I want to say about this film is that it is absolutely a roller coaster of a movie. It really does not feel like it ever slows down at any particular part. And in many ways, this is good. The pacing is pretty consistent. It definitely felt like a pretty coherent story. But in many ways, this is also kind of bad. And I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. First things first, this is a story that takes up right after the events of Far From Home. If you saw that movie, you know that Spider-Man's identity does end up getting leaked. And the entire world now knows who Spider-Man is. He is Peter Parker. Okay? So Peter immediately has to deal with this. Like, he... oh goodness. His life gets completely screwed up immediately. And it does not let up at all. And this is where a good portion of the comedy actually comes. This is actually probably the least funny in the trilogy. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The jokes were pretty decent. But they didn't really feel like there were as many. All the actors in this movie do a pretty decent job. It's the same standard quality that you've come to expect from like other Marvel movies. Nobody really does a bad job. You get to see a lot of fan favorite characters. Many characters return. Many surprising characters return. And all in all, it was a really good time to watch all of them on the big screen. It's really fun to watch. And I know I say that probably a lot. I've definitely said that for more than a few movies now. But in this movie in particular is probably the best thing that I can say about it. Because from beginning to end, it feels like it just throws you into the impact of what happened in the last film. And it does not let up at all throughout the entire movie. And if that's the kind of movie you were expecting to see, you will be very happy. I do think that every Spider-Man fan, especially fans of this trilogy in particular, should absolutely go see it. It is definitely worth the watch. However, at that point, that is where my, what's the word I'm looking for? That's pretty much where the good things pretty much end for me. Because, I was not actually expecting a Spider-Man film. I guess I should have, but I wasn't really expecting a Spider-Man film that is literally like 90% fighting. That was actually crazy to me. I'm actually happy to have seen it. It was a magical experience to sit there and watch it. But I guess I was expecting more of a story. It doesn't really feel like... It feels like the story takes a back step to the rest of the film. And I guess I was expecting more story for a movie that was setting up for such huge consequences for Spider-Man. And it didn't really seem to deliver on that. It kind of just threw you into a scenario, and that was basically it. But that's not to say there are no heartfelt scenes. There is plenty of emotion in this movie. Some will like it, some probably won't. I personally felt like sort of bitter about it, but every movie has consequences, or at least they should. Every good movie should. And Spider-Man's future is definitely something I'm going to look forward to. Especially seeing where he is now. And I'm hopeful. I really am. So I really hope what they do next is something I'm actually going to want to see. Because if Sony has the reins, I'm probably going to be pretty darn sad. They have not had a great track record, okay? Well, let's see. Is there anything else that's bad about the film? Not particularly. This film looks good. Oh, yes. I thought they were going to utilize certain characters more. Like, it definitely felt like there were certain things that he could have done. But it felt like some characters just weren't the main, like, stars. And so they didn't really do as much. And Sandman in particular, like, kind of confused me. Because he felt like more of a bipolar character. It was really weird because it felt like he could have stopped the situation for himself almost instantly. It was weird. I did enjoy it, but things are definitely shaky about this film. I'm gonna leave it at that, because I don't want to spoil anything. For now, I think I'm gonna have to give this movie probably a 3 out of 5, because it didn't really leave much of an impactful taste in my mouth. But it did do the same thing that I feel like with. It was kind of like a Godzilla vs. Kong movie for me. Like, the story in that movie also took like a backseat, as with every other Godzilla film as well. But at least the fights were good. And I kind of feel the same way about this movie. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5 for now. I'm probably going to go see it in about a week. Again. And perhaps I'll have picked up on a few more things. Maybe my opinion will have changed. And if it does, I'll actually probably talk about it more in depth. Might even make a spoiler review. That'd be neat. First time doing a spoiler review. But who knows? I do hope you all go see this. I really do. I do think it is worth it if you are fans. If you're not a fan of the series, it's probably not going to do anything for you unless you just want to see Spider-Man fight people. Who knows? That might be your thing.